I asked, why are humans so dark and evil? And the light turned into a mandala, if you know what that is, or like one of those big round cathedral windows.
Right.
It turned into a mandala of human souls, and I was taken into it. And I was allowed, it seemed like, to look into every human soul, including my own. And I tell you, I saw no evil whatsoever. And then I was shown something incredible. The next thing the light showed me was the great and mighty mosquito. Did you know that the mosquito to this day kills and ravages human beings and animals more than all the human wars on Earth?
Absolutely. And I still wonder what its purpose is.
And the light asked me, is the mosquito evil? No, it is not. The mosquito,
other than being food for, let's say, birds and stuff, what does it do?
Exactly. And you can say there are some humans that are that way.
True.
You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
So the great and mighty mosquito has had more of an effect on humanity and history than people even imagine. And to this day, if you check World Health, it's still the biggest killer of humanity on Earth.
Would you call yourself spiritual or religious right now?
Well, I'm not religious at all, but I do have a great spiritual life now, but it is not at all religious.
Have you put together that thought process of how we got here, and you know, even though you said earlier there's no plan here, but what put it all together? There had to be this godlike figure somewhere, this divine intervention. Something somewhere is intelligent behind all this design, don't you think?
Well, I can only tell you what the light has shared with me, and that I was told that the universe is not an intellectual exercise, and that if you try to understand it intellectually, you will miss it. It's like a rainbow. If you're only looking at purple, say intellectual, you're going to miss all the rest. Or if you're only down in red, hedonism, partying, then you're going to miss all the rest of it. The universe was not. It was not a intellectual exercise, and so if you try to look through it through that lens, you will not understand it. You will understand some of it, but you will not understand the fullness of it. You have to look at the whole rainbow, and so we're just beginning to understand that, and that even the concept of no beginning and no end seems mysterious to us.
Sure.
But that is the truth. There was no beginning, and there is no end to this. And in fact, the very body you're in right now, if you just look at your hand, your body has already been alive forever. It didn't come from anything dead.
We're made with stardust, aren't we?
We are. We're absolute pure stardust, and that is always in creation and recreation. So it actually is incredibly wonderful and mystical and magical in that way, and that we can't understand everything at this point is part of our process. And that the other gift we've been given is that you may never ever find out everything, and there will always be a mystery. And I have come to love mysteries. I don't try to know everything now. In fact, I crossed a line many years ago where I know too much, and I tell people, whatever ignorance you have left, cherish it. You will miss it when it's gone.
It's kind of good to be inquisitive once in a while, though.
I love a mystery, yes. Mm-hmm.
Are you bullish on our future?
I'm very, very positive. We have been through these cycles many, many times before, but they tend to get bigger and bigger now. Because we're a global society now, it's a global issue, and I think as Peter Russell has said, issues are soul size now, and everything we do affects everyone else. And this is also what's going to pull us together like never before.
Of all the prophets or the psychics that you've dealt with in your life, people that you know about, is there anybody that impresses you?
I'm not really into psychics and stuff like that, actually. Gene Roddenberry still blows my mind.
Right.
And Edgar Casey, and I've been to the Edgar Casey Center and lectured there and reviewed his materials. He was amazing. And there are amazing people like that around that can retrieve information, useful information that can help you. But what I learned on the other side is that what people call psychic really isn't psychic. It turns out that the most psychic part of yourself is your first brain. It looks like the reptilian brain.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that is because everything is psychic, from bacteria to you. And that is what we call psychic ability is actually located in the lower brain. And it was originally a survival mechanism to sense danger, sense water, and it all has to do with the very natural process of what you might think is psychic. And a friend asked me once, because I told him something, "You must be psychic." And I said, "No, you don't have to be psychic to smell the fish."
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
But
you're perceptive.
Yeah, and so when someone says they're psychic and they just tell me what I already know, like my car is green or this, that, and the other, that's not psychic. That's called telepathy, wireless communication, which is one of the easiest thing to do is read someone's mind and go through their files. And people seem to be blown away if you can tell them something they already know. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And by the way, tell me about what you've been saying lately about feeding the world, which one day is going to be very important.
Yes. In my book, it's called Tricks with Fish. And remember the story of Jesus on the mountain feeding the masses with the fish.
Exactly.
This is replication technology that's coming in. In the future, in the not-too-distant future, we will be able to replicate food as much as we want. In fact, in the future, we don't drill for water anymore. The people of the future go, we drill in the ground for water. We just make water any way we want. In what you might call replicators. And you can make it, it's all natural because there's only nature in the universe, electrons and atoms. And so that literally the things that you've seen on Star Trek, replicating food and water, is quite common in the future, and there is no shortage of anything, which really takes us out of survival. And once we're out of survival, you don't need oil companies, you don't need kings, you don't need any of that stuff. So tricks with fish, or feeding the world, is actually going to become easier and easier. And the techniques, you won't even see big farms in the future. They disappear.
Interesting. I've always thought we should create and build, Mellon, a huge dehumidifier that sucks water out of the atmosphere.
Oh, totally possible. Totally possible. There's no end to energy, really, and the way we can manipulate it. And you can make water any way you want it. But we live, the amazing thing is that we could be in desalination right now, big time, for everybody that lives near the coast. I mean,
we should be. Why aren't we?
Well, Europe's already doing it. There's these giant ships that have been built.
Right. Saudi Arabia is doing it.
Spain. They bring these ships in, park them right at the dock, and they're huge desalination plants that supply whole cities.
L.A. should be doing it.
Well, all of California should be doing it.
Absolutely. Well, they'll probably be forced to do it.
They will be. That's another interesting thing about nature and the universe is that change happens when it's necessary. There's a resistance factor that I appreciate in the universe, and even the fundamentalists represent a resistance factor. There's a resistance factor in everything, a push-pull effect. But when critical masses hit, the change will happen. And
that's with life too.
Absolutely.
Isn't it, Mellon?
And it'll happen in your life. It'll happen in California. And when the time is right, boy, it just happens.
Yeah.
But sometimes we push it a bit far and we suffer a little bit before we make the change. But that's you can take the positive course or the negative course to get there, but they both lead to the same place.
Take a moment before the break to tell us about your books and where you can get them.
Thanks.
We're Journey Through the Light and Back, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Other Side. Both available still, Mellon?
Yes. Well, we're in pre-order now. And they'll actually be out in about 3 months. But the publishers and everybody, they do these pre-order things, so it'll be out soon.
Very good. Mellon-Thomas.com is the website. So, do you travel much? Speaking engagements?
I try not to. I'm not really a teacher. I love teachers and saints. I'm neither. And I'm really a shaman, and my real mission is bringing in practical application of higher consciousness. I do like entertaining people, and I will, in the future, do more of that. I believe we can entertain through multimedia and make things real fun.
Good point. We'll be back with more. Let's get into life after death, reincarnation, in just a moment. Next hour, we'll open up the phone lines. You can chat with Mellon, and also perhaps share some of your near-death experience stories with us. We'll be right back on Coast to Coast AM.